Hello and welcome back to Rolex Play, where we roll dice and play games. You've joined us for our weekday campaign of Threads of Chaos. We are currently on session 21, but don't worry, you haven't missed much. No, you missed a lot. Better get to catching up. We currently have pretty much everyone here except for one player today, but no matter, we will continue in his stead. So, just to give us a quick recap of where we last left off, you guys had journeyed through some otherworldly plane, had seen the past, had seen events that no other really has, and had found yourselves returning back to your place where you were, where you kind of left this world. There you'd found yourself surrounded by guards and kind of on a bit of an alert as there was mention of demons being sighted. You had met the leader of the Ebrith dynasty and had kind of shared some good words back and forth. He seems to have a liking to you guys, at least. And now with your new partner, Kirill Shazad, the entity in which you kind of went into this dreamscape to save, you now find yourselves returning back to Aiden Hassar's mansion, your kind of employer, the guy who has brought you all here together in the first place. As soon as you walked through the door, however, you could see that the tension was kind of palpable in the air. There was something going on. And as soon as the arrival of Aiden had kind of crossed its way down the stairs, you had seen your new ally, Kirill, completely disappear and appear right next to him with a blade up to his neck. With weapons now drawn, you all find yourself in this kind of stalemate, unsure of what's going to happen next. And we're just going to go from there. So, as described before, you guys are kind of at the main entrance of the mansion. You can see the large staircase above going up and then to the left and the right. And on the left-hand side, you can see Kirill, this kind of insectoid creature, wrapping his arm around this gargoyle persona of Aiden Hassar with a blade tipped against his chin and under his neck. The blade itself hums in the air, and you can see Aiden's skin or stone-like exterior almost push away and give way to this like underbelly of purple and black mass, like a tumorous almost growth underneath the hardened skin that he has, now completely unshown, glowing, and as well kind of flicking back and forth as you can sense that there's maybe something underneath the surface. He holds him tight. You've also seen Aiden Hassar's helpers essentially jump into action. The female of the two, Coraline, she disappeared completely into shadow and reappeared right next to Kirill, essentially a few feet away, holding out some energy in her hands, dark and shadowy in design and look. Meanwhile, Richter, the male figure, he was standing right beside you and had conjured this elemental, almost bow in his hand, which draws this like thunderous hum as he's now pointing it towards Kirill. The group of you kind of acting as intermediaries, you had pulled your blades out, you had kind of cocked your arrows, and Helen, you're kind of like the one to intrude the most here, as you have a blade tipped against Richter's neck. And you can see, as he's kind of pointing the bow out forward, his eyes look over to you, and he just kind of stares down at the blade, and he's just really watching what you're going to do next. Is there anything that you do in this moment, seeing as he's kind of checking you up and down?
He's just going to kind of hold it up to him and gonna like kind of turn her hand around it a little bit, and just as she does, like as she turns it, like activate the blood right and basically just look at him threateningly and go, let's let the powers that be handle this. I think we're both out of our depths here. And just kind of stare at him like really intensely, basically just this is a them problem, not an us problem, leave them be. Just like stare him down.
Mm-hmm. I'd like you just to roll a persuasion or intimidation check. Either one.
What am I better at?
Exactly. They both sound the same.
Persuasion.
How is your
persuasion?
With your passive perception, seeing a bit more of your surroundings, you can see Helen is currently busy holding back Richter. Meanwhile, the rest of this kind of Life's Echo, the other group that was brought here under the same mission as you guys, you can see within the saloon and now have begun to move in around you. You can see they kind of begin to grow slightly agitated. They look back and forth. They look at you guys. They look towards the staircase, unsure of what's really going on. But you can see they're kind of like de facto leader, Piethgrana, the female Cloud Goliath. You can see she's kind of like walking over with her hands behind her back as she just kind of examines the group of you up and down. She looks over and sees the insectoid figure, Kirill, and she'll look at you, Cal. What is this all about?
Too complicated to explain right this very second. Very complicated indeed. But he's good, and like if Hazar wants us to, they're both good. Or like Hazar is evil, but like the insect isn't evil. We know that much. Because we were in his head.
She kind of looks curiously with a steely-eyed look. Very well, if you're meant to work together and take out these demons, then it looks as though perhaps this is the next challenge. And she kind of like holds her ground next to you guys, looking up towards Aiden Hassar. You see she doesn't draw her like weapons, she doesn't pull anything out, but she just holds her ground and kind of looks up to see what's going to happen next. She doesn't seem to like get involved or anything. Helen, for you, you can see Richter holding the thrum of this arrow knocked in ethereal energy, condensed air. You see he kind of, as he begins to speak, the blade pushes into his neck, and he just like continues talking. That's all right. We can let them talk. As long as no more movements or any more action is taken. And he looks up towards Aiden. See Aiden Hassar kind of still stands there, no expression across his face, dagger still towards his neck. Axon, you have arrived at this point. You can now walk through the door and see that there is a slight commotion going on. You can see this blade's drawn. People are beginning to kind of almost put them away at this point. But you can see on the staircase, Aiden Hassar does have a blade against his neck by Kirill Shazad. Is there anything that you do as you walk in seeing this?
Yeah, first I would like to scan the room if there are anyone else hidden, but like doing it passively, I think it doesn't need any check because I would just walk towards the Kirill and Hazal, and I look at Kirill. I left you for how long? Like 20 minutes, and you already causing troubles, Kirill? What's the meaning of this? Like, why are you threatening him?
I was not informed that we'll be seeing a demon this day. You know my distaste for demons.
First of all, are you certain that he is a demon? And second of all, don't you think that not all demons are bad and deserve like the treatment which you are giving right now?
Kirill
Helen's currently given him a very like
looks over in your direction. I believe that all demons deserve the same respect, and that is none.
I'm not talking about respect. I think first, at least, give him a chance to explain himself, right? And by the looks of him, he is not like, he does not look like a demon. He looks like someone who got cursed by demons. But again, I'm not too deeply involved in his I don't know, existence.
You hear from above the staircase shouting down, Caroline. If you just put him down, I'm sure he'll explain everything, but with a blade against his neck, he's not going to say much. He's a man of few words to begin with, and I think in this situation, if you could please just lower your weapons. I can assure you, it's more complicated than it looks. Kirill.
Wait, you guys knew he's a demon? What?
Victor looks over to you. Well, if we had told you, you wouldn't have joined, so.
No, I probably still would have, honestly. Like, I mean, it doesn't really change anything, does it?
Not really, but we thought we would share the information slowly.
Given the current situation, it's quite understandable.
Holding the blade to his neck, Kirill begins to lower it slightly. The blade now pushed away. You can see the wound which was there begins to heal up and wrap over with the same stony grey texture as it was before. And Kirill just pushes him slightly forward. What do you have to say for yourself, demon? You see, catching himself slightly with the cane, Aiden looks around at the rest of you. Well, as they said, it is all very complicated and goes back to a time long ago. If you must know of my origin to understand or to move forward, then let me enlighten you. See, he kind of looks around. But first, perhaps we can all sit down in somewhere more comfortable. Perhaps the observatory? Everyone kind of looks around. No comments.
I do not look around. I just like keep staring at Kirill. Like,
yeah, sure. Roll an insight check if you want to.
I do not even turn my eyes from him. Basically, like burning through him. Insight, you mean?
Yes, insight.
That's okay. A 10.
You can definitely sense that there is a rage that he holds behind him. That's not being hidden very well. But whether that can be something that's approached, bargained with, you're not sure. It's hard to read in this moment. But you can just see that he is poised to strike. He is kind of holding his blade to the side. It still thrums with that energy as it does before when it's conjured. So he is kind of constantly keeping an eye out. And as well, you can see him examining the two helpers as well. Every so often looking behind him, looking towards Caroline, looking down towards Richter. He's definitely examining their perhaps martial ability and seeing if he could take on all three if necessary. On occasion, sometimes looking at everyone else as well to perhaps have the same idea. Aiden Hassar begins to go up the stairs, and you see Caroline and Richter adjusting themselves. Energy, magic, whatever they had before disappeared. Richter holding a small napkin against his neck to push away the bleeding and wipe it away, still looking towards Helen. All of you begin to join upstairs. You find yourselves... Yes.
Cal's definitely the entire way up just glued to Richter going like, oh my god, that was a cool looking bow. Can you teach me how to do that? That was insane.
Perhaps with your training, yes.
Oh my god.
It's not something that you can do constantly, but it is nice to not need to rely on material things. Because sometimes bows can break.
Yeah, that is very annoying.
Meanwhile, the wind is everywhere.
Wind.
He kind
That's
of like
cool.
looks at you for a moment. Do you even have an interest in this?
Well, it looked extremely cool. So, yeah.
Your friend had a blade against my neck, and now you're complimenting my skills.
Yeah, like the situation's relaxed, all relaxed.
You're quite a strange one.
Yeah,
Is
people
this-
keep saying that.
Is this a normal defense mechanism for you?
I don't think it's a defense mechanism. What would I be defending myself against right now? Like emotions or being terrified of the demons?
Are you terrified of that demon?
Well, that specific one. No, but the other ones, the ones we saw yesterday. But yeah.
Are you also snacking?
Yeah, Kel definitely is. He's just grabbed, like, I don't know, chocolate from his bag. It's just tasty.
Okay, well, if you wish to understand the elements a bit more, I can help you. But let's see if this arrangement still continues once you know the truth.
Well, wait, wouldn't it be really awkward to fire us after telling us the truth, though? Like, what if we do say we want to quit, then, like... Are you gonna kill all of us? That would be tiresome as fuck.
Might have to.
Damn.
I was joking.
I don't. Nah, I don't envy you. Like, if you really have to do all that work, I'd be just, ugh.
No, I don't want to do the work either, and I was joking.
Yeah.
As we told you before,
Okay.
you can leave whenever you like. You're not bound to our service. You know the information you know. We just ask you to not spread it.
Well, we didn't tell the authorities anything about, like, the demons we saw yesterday, so...
You met the authorities.
Oh, yes. We met so many fucking people yesterday.
You've only been here for like a few days. How is that even possible?
Yeah. Ask him! And I point at Shazad, Shazad, and say, he... we just wanted to relax before taking this job. Go to a night's convention, you know. And then he decided he wants to uncurse his horse, and now he points at Axon. And now we have a quick pot traveling with us, which I think we've exchanged him for Tuko, and I'm not quite sure if that's like a good thing or a bad thing yet. But it will turn out, you know, maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. We'll see.
Your horse was cursed. Why would anyone curse a horse?
No. He was the horse before he was cursed. Like, he was cursed to be a horse.
This is all very confusing.
Yeah. I'm starting to think that everything involving demons is very confusing. So yeah. Also, again, terrifying. You should have seen those things.
When you say seen those things, what do you mean seen those things? You're saying a lot of
Someone would
things.
just like come stomping back down the stairs and kind of like grab Cal and goes, I'll explain over tea. I think, you know, it's one of those stories it's best to sit down for.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we'll share some stories later then. Let us hear what the man of the house has to say. You can see Richter, he eyes you up and down again, Helen. Fast on your blade.
Yes. I've had a lot of training, a lot of time. You have to be in this line of work, and then would kind of just turn to him and go, "Is that gonna be a problem?"
Far from it. I appreciate the eagerness.
She'd kind of just nod and go, "Let them have their chat. Tea? Tea? Coffee?" And would kind of look between the two of them like,
Yes, coffee.
You just
"Maybe
hear Caroline
no coffee for you."
just speak up. I'll get the tea and coffee. I'll bring it up to the observatory, and we can all have a drink up there. And she
I
just
will just
disappears
kind
in
of
shadow
nod.
now that her abilities are out.
Shoot.
So,
Still interesting.
Aiden Hassar, he brings you up, not to the first floor, but past there to the second floor. Now, when you reach up to the next one above, the first one has this kind of large lounge with different creatures' heads mounted on different sides and rooms that you've been given to stay in if you wish to stay here. But he takes you up to the next floor. Now, the next floor seems to split off into two spaces, one to the right-hand side and one to the left. He begins to take you over to the left-hand turn. As you arrive here, it doesn't seem to be there present when you kind of look to the exterior of the mansion, because all you could see on this wing is kind of like this just piece of glass window, like a circular window in the side of the building. But as soon as you enter this ring, there's almost a larger space inside, and you see constellations above you. You see bright stars all interwoven and knitted together with faint traces of light. And you can see in the center there is this almost like helm position for a ship, which can be shifted around and moved. You see Aiden walks in here. This is one of the most secure places on the estate grounds. It is also a place of scrying and to see people that you wish to find across the world. But that is not why I brought you here. I brought you here to speak the truth. I gave you the option to ask me questions before. The curious have asked and I have answered. But now I see that it is more necessary to uncover what was before. My position in all of this. My story begins long ago, in a village, my home, and my family. The details of my past are blurred to me, because time is a fleeting memory that not everyone has control of. I remember tilling the fields, honest work of a farmhand who had little coin to his name. All I can remember is the smile of my family. The eyes have faded away, but happiness I remember fondly. There was word we had company on the horizon. A person of great importance would be coming to our village to gift our people. We had nothing to fend off against evils of this world, and all we had was hope of another to aid our village, bring about a new chapter in our lives. Although I do not remember the names or the faces of my village or of my family, hers will forever be burned into my mind. White lips, a silver cloak, calm eyes with deceit perfectly hidden in them. A powerful witch who brought good fortune wherever she went. The village and I were blinded by the reality of it all, and these rumors turned out to be far from the truth. She was an agent of chaos, heartless. She carried no emotion with her. When she arrived at our village, an icy grave met us all. Those I loved turned to ice. I endured the pain, unlike any other. But I was not granted an end. All I wanted was to be with my family. This witch had plans for those who survived. A curse I still reflect on to this day. We were gathered into a ritual, 9 of us, draped in the blood of a slain demon. She spoke an ancient incarnation as we all stood there powerless. Only later did I understand who this demon was. The blood of Coronia, the sinful wishmaker. One of the original demons to come under Asmodeus' service. They granted wishes to those in need with a cost that would impact their lives in the world for the worst. I felt bound to the others. A memory became faint to the events. One thing that lingers from that moment is her words. She said, "We will watch on and do as this demon did, to give the world whatever they wanted, to spread chaos, as she deemed herself chaos itself." We found ourselves appearing in places around the world, both known and unknown. Our story began to catch wind, and people sought us out, for they were in need of a wish. The temptation of power and what we had turned into left some of the others bound by this right, craving to leave by any means necessary. The desperation of these people were palpable, and so, one by one, they freed themselves who tried to deceive them. No different to these demons or the witch, we ourselves, this close circle, had fallen to the wayside. I felt myself, the little aspect of me that was left, waning. But a voice came to me. A man whose eyes were tired, and saw not the stone that I was carved in, but instead my own eyes. He spoke so calmly, a voice so clear, and he made a wish. He spoke of how frail he had become, and he had no other option left. He saw something in me that to this day I do not know is truly there. He made a wish for me to take his place, and in return, I am to bring an end to the demons that had wronged him. Unable to say no or undo his words, I took on the mantle of Aiden Hassar, and he took my place with those left in the binding. I would have wished his place back. I would have, in a heartbeat, put myself back and given this man his freedom, but I cannot make a wish for myself. A curse carried over from the demon's blood that had changed me. He looks around, and so here I am before you, impersonating a man with a vendetta against demons, and with the fire to complete it. I am indebted to Aiden Hassar. I carry his name, and I will see that his wish is completed, one way or another. This is my story. We
Does
watch
he
as...
seem like he's...
Go on, yeah. Go for it.
Does he seem like he's being sincere? Like,
Yeah, sure, you
because
can...
he hadn't been like giving off any emotions, but like, is he now? Like, is it any different? Is he...
Roll an
just-
insight check at advantage.
Ooh, I'll just roll it again then.
Okay.
Ugh.
With a 12. Again, that kind of stony exterior shell that he has is difficult to read. But when you're looking towards the sentiment that lays on people, you had seen nothing before. It was completely hollow. There was no real sentiment. But upon mentioning the name Aiden Hassar and reflecting on him, and when he said that his eyes met each other, there was this kind of almost reminiscent spark of what was there. And it was a spark of like dedication, of trust, of love in a way. Someone had given him hope once more, but it fades away. It's only like an instant that you see it.
Wait, I'm confused. So, like, can you actually fulfill people's wishes, or did you give that to the original Eidnarsar? Because you said like he took your place. So does that mean you can't fulfill wishes anymore? Because you promised us to like that you do a wish thing at the end of this. So, like, do we have to go to the?
I am the one that had hired you for this job, and I can grant you wishes. But as the contract states, the wish will only be granted once we have completed our task. And there is a slight complication anyways. To be able to deliver you this wish, the demons must be removed. There is a vacuum of power, you could say, that with them present, my words fall on deaf ears. But with them removed, I can grant you the wishes that you need. The job is still the same job as the one mentioned in the letter. My side of the bargaining has not changed.
Excuse the rudeness of my companions, but I would first want to say thank you for sharing your story with us. That's the first and foremost, and sorry that you went through that nightmare. But the one question which still bothers me, why haven't you said anything earlier?
The reason for the secrecy is that my being can alarm people, those of the faith. And he looks over towards the kind of more faithful in your group, and as well as Life Echo. They would see me as perhaps a negative version of what they pray to, and they are not wrong. I may not be
Oh yeah, no, they're very correct.
a demon directly, but I was forged to become one, albeit perhaps a smaller version of. I am still a demon, more demon than anything else.
At least you're a sentient demon, and that I can tell you. Yeah. Other demons which we encountered didn't even want to talk to us, like, peacefully. And
Like, we did break into their homes, so that might be because of that.
And still, like, they could have at least, like, asked why we came and what we are doing there. Not, you know,
And like,
attacking
we
us
were technically
outside.
let in. Like, Nobby let us in, technically. But we asked, and he said, yeah, sure, go in.
That's
We
beside
did really
the
break
point. I look at Kirill. Did it like satisfy you, like, or you still have some burning questions?
Kirill, listening attentively, not flinching, still holding the blade. You see he kind of walks slightly closer to Aiden. You're still a demon, no matter what has affected you. But I can sympathize with your origins. You've become the thing that you hate. You are, for the better terms of it, a curse. And as we've seen, curses can be lifted. But yours comes from somewhere far and beyond. It will take a miracle to undo what was done. I understand. And my mission is not to change who I am, or to bring back what was. I am here to fulfill the wishes of Aiden Hassar. And for that to happen, 11 demons must fall. I understand. I see no reason to fight. We stand on the same side. But I'll have it known. You are cast. If that temptation that lies within you changes, know that I will be there to strike you down. As you say, with the more demons present, your powers lessen. But as we start eliminating them one by one, perhaps you will regain this previous form. And if you were to change your mind, if your heart becomes corrupted, my blade will find it. Aiden gives a bow. And so it be. You see amongst Life's Echo, the gnome just go, "What the fuck is this? It's all boring. I don't give a fuck. Can we just get pissed already? Or like do some training or whatever? This really wasn't necessary at all, if we're honest."
Wait, does that mean you guys accepted already? Are you in?
Pithkarana looks over. Yes. It was last night the deal was made. We have joined in the cause.
Ah, sweet.
And have you?
Well, we haven't officially said it, but I think, like, with this entire situation, I think we kind of have to. Also, I think we'd die if we didn't. Not because these guys would kill us, but because the other guys we met yesterday would kill us.
Yeah, so basically we don't have any choice, yeah.
Richter
Yeah.
looks over again. You keep saying this. Meeting these guys. Are you referring to having seen demons? Plural.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the flesh, if you can say so.
Well, theoretically in the flesh, it's very unclear whether or not we were actually present. Like, our souls definitely were, and like it hurt a lot when they shot at us, but like our bodies were in that room, right? So
Well, as far
was
as
it really us? Was it a projection?
Well, we were at least in the Feywild at one point.
yes,
That is for certain.
Yeah.
it felt quite real, I would say, and yeah. I don't know if the name like says anything to you, but Shadow and Kip, we visited this one and successfully escaped after meeting all, I think, at least like how it looked like, high-ranked demons, and probably
Yeah.
the demon lord himself.
You watch as
Potentially, you know.
Coraline is handing out the tea and the coffee. You see she's kind of like, "Oh, that's fun. I guess you've already been there then. Hey, look, yeah.
No,
it's
it was not.
Feywild.
It was
That's the
scary,
place."
not fun.
Well, I don't know
Sure.
about that. I think that sounds pretty fun to me.
I mean, parts of it were fun. The bits before we went to the Feywild were really interesting. We talked to this ancient giant dragon. Do you know the one that died 20 years ago? And then the gods came, and then the demons came, and they had this really epic battle.
Okay.
And
But what about the demons, though? What were they like? What did it feel like to be hit by one?
scary as fuck. It hurt. Like that Mycelia tell it to you, she almost died, but like all of us were pretty badly hurt. But we also managed to like mystify Shadowfy. They turned into shadow when we killed them, so we managed to kill some of the lesser ones, which like credits to us, I guess. We didn't manage to even like attempt to attack one of the big ones, but I think we would have died anyway if we did that. So they
And-
mostly sent their pawns after us.
And I'm sorry to interrupt you, Kelva. Not everyone got hit pretty badly. I was quite alright.
Yeah, that's because you joined in at like the last second and you just started running away. Like, I would have also not have gotten hit if I did that.
I don't know.
There
I
was
finished
fireballs involved.
Yeah, fireball. I actually saw it.
Wait, you did?
I think
I
so.
didn't
Yeah,
see
I
that.
arrived right before it or right afterwards. It doesn't really.
Well, you still
matter.
missed all the good bits.
I'm not gonna lie, that sounds pretty cool. So, congratulations for surviving a demon attack.
And Caroline,
Oh,
just for the
thanks.
record, we do have different definitions of fun.
Ah, yeah.
I get that. That's fine. But still, impressive stuff. You see, Aiden looks over. So you've seen all of the demons. They were all present.
Probably.
Well, we didn't have time to count them, but there were a lot of high and like pretty powerful demons from the looks of it.
Yeah, like the amulets were going crazy. Like almost spinning in circles, kind of.
Well, this is quite concerning. Usually the demons don't tend to reside together. They are soul sort of creatures. They tend to not rely on one another. Perhaps they have been talking.
It was also
almost like a
debatable.
theater. It was
Oh yeah.
very interesting, at least towards the end.
Also, it's debatable whether or not it was taking place in like the now, because at one point we were like in his time, and then we went into the Fey realm, and like Helen saw her parents, and like that implied that it was not like present like right now, but also it could have been right now. It could have been yesterday. It was really weird.
The realm of shadows in the Fey realm is a very strange place that stands outside of time. The origins of it are unknown. People do not know if it was, or will be. It's one of these realms that have just been. A pocket inside of the Fey realm is unusual to say the least. But yes, as Caroline had said, it is quite a miracle that you had all made it out. And as well, with a powerful ally, as he gestures over to Kirill. I have heard much word of Kirill's actions, slaying several demons and being a all-knower of demonkind. It is by luck, perhaps, that he is on and landed in your path. But I don't.
Yeah, like,
really
and worse luck,
believe
and
him.
he'd still be a horse.
He was a horse.
Yeah, for so long.
Quite intelligent horse. But not sure I like it.
And who gave you this horse?
This guy in Sembros, I think. Helen, did you say you met the guy in Sembros?
Was it the guy who? It was the woman who gave us the horses.
Yeah, she
right?
No. The horse.
gifted
No.
what we got
So she wanted
from
to
other
pay us,
players.
and then I was like, "Hold on. How about you pay us in the horses in the cart instead?" But she wasn't
No,
the one
but,
who
like,
originally
they were-
warned the horse. Unless she
I thought they
gave
were
the
hers,
guy.
though. when she gave them to us, they were hers, right? She's the one that had the suspicious cursed horses.
They were hers, to
No,
be fair.
we went
Wait,
out
but-
with the horses.
Yeah, it was this
Because Sammy was
Insembros,
the guy that hired us.
Yeah, the shady guy who gave the contract, like, to deliver something, like, and he
This is
So
correct.
he got horses
Gave
from her
both of
and
the
then
horses
handed
and
them off
carts.
to random people.
Yes.
Holy shit, that's weird as fuck. So yeah, weird guy in Sembros who didn't own the horses. It was this lady in the shard, right? Yeah, in shard 1, I think. She had exploding sending stones and like a full cupboard of them, and like she would have them to random people. Like, we knew her for a half day, and then she had an exploding sending stone. I was like, if you want to do like mysterious jobs for me, here you go. It was all very interesting. And then Helen almost blew up like an entire bar with it.
You see Sallow's just kind of like looking around. What the fuck are you talking about? What is exploding sending stone? What?
Yeah.
Don't mind him, it's nothing really important.
All right. Okay. Well, look. You see, sorry. Fucking hell, I can't say names. Sallow is just kind of looking around. All right, I'm fucking out of here. I'm getting drunk. And he leaves. You see the bugbear, the cleric of Celestia, Murdoch. He kind of looks over. So you're telling me that your horse was given to you? Did they know that it was cursed?
Mm-hmm.
Helen, that's a
Or
question to you.
she was a very interesting person. It could be that she knew. I wouldn't put it past her.
Also, she didn't intend for us to take the horses. Like, she was gonna keep them. So, unless she tricked me into asking for them, but I'm not sure how she would have done that.
Not hard to trick you, Cal, into doing something, I must say.
Yeah, but like, not even you guys were expecting me to ask for the horses, so how would she hadn't met me before, how would she know I'm easy to trick? Right?
Well, she might like, or she did some background check on all of us. I don't know.
She didn't know we were coming! It's not like we announced ourselves. The only one we met on the entire journey was the ghost mailman.
As I said,
That's
it's not really important. We got the horses, and we figured out that one of them like was cursed. We lifted the curse, and now we got Kirill.
Kirill nods along. This is correct. The memory that I had whilst I was cast in this form is slightly all over the place. But one thing is for certain. I was in that woman's care for a long time, and I'd been passed around quite a bit until that point. I thought I was being kept around for a reason. Perhaps they knew something. But I'm unsure. Again, I was a horse.
Why the
I mean-
fuck did you give him to us then? I'm so confused. Not even Cal. I'm confused.
I like everyone theory why you were kept like around, but again, it's just a theory.
You talking about this, you see Aiden Hassar just look over. Well, if you know who this woman is, he gestures to the wheel, we can find her. And perhaps can see what she's doing now.
Is this where we have to look into our notes to figure out if we have a name? I think I
This is where
do
I
have
to
a
look
name.
for my
I think I
notebook.
have.
This is where I,
I
have to
think
go
I have. Wait.
digging.
Okay. I think I have
I
it.
know I've written this down, but this isn't. I don't know where my notebook is.
I'll leave you to try and find
Ah,
it.
I do. I have it. I have it.
Yes.
Her name is Dravina Bulf,
That's right.
and she's the
Governess.
governess of the Glass Shard.
Mhm. You see Aiden just kind of walks over towards the helm of this essentially non-existent ship, and he will just gesture to it and then turn back to the rest of you. Whoever has a stronger identity of who this woman is can step forward and guide our vision to wherever she is. And we can have a
Helen
trying
would
eye.
step forward, given I think she talked to her most of everyone.
Okay. He lets you take the helm. You see this kind of wooden spoke in front of you. There's a few kind of glowing implements around it with kind of like glyphs, sigils, just with a slight underglow. But you begin to think of Dravina Bulv, and you hold onto the side of this wheel. As you do, everyone watches as these stars become lines of light that become 3D and then push in the space around you. As you're holding onto it, Helen, I'd like you to roll this will be a perception or survival check.
Both are the same for me, so let's go with perception.
Okay. You grab the wheel, and for a moment, you find this kind of almost affinity, like a binding with this wheel, and you just begin to turn the wheel in several directions. The rest of you watch as the glow of the runes begin to just appear around it. And as the wheel is turning and moving, you feel as though the rushing sensation, as though the ground is being pulled. The sky is moving around you. The stars are stretching ever so far as Helen, with her eyes trained in front of her, guides you to wherever Dravina Bulv is. And as you focus and keep going and moving this wheel, you find as the surroundings begin to shape and warp from this starry landscape into one with it which is more familiar to what you've seen before. The kind of red trees that surround the red grain forest with bright different colors, cherry blossoms for the most part, in the cover of night. It's dark, and as you arrive with the wheel in hand, looking around, you can see that you are in the trees themselves. You are now on the ground and moving through this almost ethereal movement, pushes through trees, pushes through people that walk past. You can see Warforged just stepping through. You can see carts bounding by, and all of the sounds are heard. You can hear everything around you. It's almost a bit too much for the senses, for the sensory organs to kind of like pick up, hear, and as well, as you push past like areas where there is a bakery with food being prepared for a morning rise, you can smell the kind of lush scents that push through into the space. This is very much like Disney soaring, if you've ever done that or know of what that is. The smells and sounds just begin to push through. But as you navigate your way, you can find the female figure, this leader, Dravina Bulv, standing in a crowd, a few people walking back and forth, not gathered around her, but you can see she's kind of walking with her two kind of draconic dogs by her side. You can see one on her left, one on her right, and they're kind of just looking around. You see she's just kind of walking along. Every so often you see someone run up to her and kind of hand her something, and she just takes it. Ah, very well. Your payment as per usual. And she just kind of pockets it away. You see one guy holds up the standing stone. By the way, someone told me that this thing will just, detonate. Am I supposed to be curious about that, or? No, you don't have to worry about it. It is fine. Well, you And you see for a moment where his eyes kind of glaze over. I would like Cal, Helen, as well as Axon. Yeah, the three of you can roll Arcana or Perception checks.
Connor. Oh,
It's
goodness.
equally brilliant.
Oh my lord.
Let's go.
Ooh, Helen!
Okay. Axon, you watch as this guy in his 20s or so questions about the stone, but then completely glazes over. And you watch as he just kind of like shakes his head, kind of acknowledges the surroundings. Yes, no worries. I will get it sorted. Wow, okay. And he just kind of like rushes off. You can see that he was charmed in some way, the origin of which you cannot tell where. But Helen, you see it. Not from Dravenna Bulv, but you see one of the dogs by her side. You see its eyes had kind of shot quickly with this dark black magic, and then just completely disappeared once again. And you see as it kind of like looks up to her, and then the three of them just continue to walk.
That's why they didn't want pets. They're evil. Don't make sense though.
With the natural 20 as well on the Arcana check, although this space is very sensory orientated, there's something that is an anomaly that happens here. You notice that your pendant, as well as everyone else's, just kind of flickers for a moment. And you think that perhaps there might be a connection there.
She just kind of like breathes really deeply and gets like a game face on, basically.
Yeah, what did you mean by everyone else's pendants? Is it like by everyone in the room or something else?
It was everyone who was like next to Helen in that moment, which would have been Helen and perhaps maybe two others. The spark was just kind of a blink and you miss it. So realistically, she probably was the only one that saw it with a natural 20. It's, yeah.
Oh, the pendant on the woman.
The one that detects demons, specific demons, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm
The
completely
specific
confused.
like 12 really bad ones.
Yes,
Looking
them.
back at her now.
11, I think.
Oh, it's the
Because-
item Helen has, or?
No, all of you have it.
No, we
All
all,
of you
we all
have
had
them.
that. We all had that.
Really? I
Mhm.
probably missed it because I don't even remember it. But okay.
Does she look
Oh,
familiar
it's-
now, having seen most of them? Like
Or do the
having another good
dogs.
look
Or
at
do
her.
the dogs.
Or do the dogs? Yeah.
You can roll a nature check if you'd like. Nature or medicine. I
Just
guess.
her, or well, for the net 20.
Yeah, just Helen for now. Oh my god.
Ooh, sweet.
23. From a 20 to a 19. Amazing.
This is rigged.
I know. You expedite the campaign a bit. You see as the demon dog that had cast this kind of compulsion magic, this charm, you can see it sniggers to the other one next to it. And you now pick up that there's two. Now, when you looked back, and it kind of makes more sense now, that when you were escaping the red staircase and climbing out to freedom, there were a bisected creature running and acting very dog-like, snarling, rushing, slobbering. perhaps these two are them.
Perhaps.
Natural 20 and a natural 19, man. That's what it would give you.
Huh. Does Hazar seem to like clock does he seem to kind of understand what he's seeing, given he's the expert on this kind of stuff?
You're the only one that notices this at a glance.
Would kind of
Like the
just wait
dog.
and see, like, does anyone say anything?
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, DM, but the dog-like demon was also the one that was hovering over us while we were unconscious, right? That's the one that the others fought, because I think they mentioned
It was
having
unclear.
dog nature.
It was unclear which one that was.
Oh, okay, right.
They never said specifically because they didn't really know about
Yeah.
demons. They were just able to shoo it away, essentially. But as you kind of hold the mains here of the helm position at the wheel, you find as the enchantment was glowing brightly, now having found the person, a few seconds later you watch as the lights just dim and the wheel is inactive once more. That starry scape pushes back into space and you're left back in the room that was before. You can see everyone else is kind of looking around. No one shares their thoughts, but Helen, since you clocked it, you can roll an insight check around to see if anyone else is picking up what you did.
Oh,
One
I
of
really
you
wanted
know
to pet
things.
those dogs.
Helen would
16.
just lean back and goes, wouldn't recommend. They don't look too friendly. You
Okay.
know, not all
Well.
dogs are your friend, Cal.
Well, barely any dogs are my friends, really.
With a 16, you don't notice if anyone else has clocked it.
I don't know. She seemed like she did something fishy to that man, but beside that, I wouldn't say that she has some connection to the demons. At least I haven't noticed anything.
You see Hassar, he will look around. Well, perhaps it is not her, which is a demon. Perhaps there is no demon here. The demons hide in plain sight. And the only way to find them is to go out into the field and perhaps lure them to you or find little hints at where they are. They leave a trail. It is not difficult to find them. It is just finding that trail first. Once you found it, then all lines will lead to them. And it is up to you on how you wish to execute these demons.
Oh, yeah, right. On the top of luring them somewhere. My city got marked by one of them, and now Oren is running around with the mark thing. Like, he's like at the convention that we went to, he wanted to do more stuff there, and so he took the marking thing. Cause like Curl like extracted it from ACD, so Oren is running around with it now. So if the convention gets attacked anytime soon, that's going to be the demon that attacked us yesterday.
Everyone kind of looks around speechless.
Oh no, it was their plan all along. What can we like? They wouldn't even hear like think against.
Helen would just kind of lean in as well and goes, if you were to make a ranking of these demons we're meant to be hunting, is there like you know, a ringleader, one that would be worse than the others, or is there a hierarchy in themselves? I must admit, I know relatively little about demon hierarchy.
Hassar looks around and gestures towards Kirill. The best person to ask is Kirill Shazad. Kirill looks over. Yes, I've come across many of them, and all of the eyes which were sat there I remembered. Originally there were 16 seats where these demons had sat. Now it looks as though there are only 10 sat in those seats. One of them I know is trapped. But 10 others, they still stand. If you must know who is the strongest amongst them, then it is the Shadow Hand. He is the proprietor of the Shadow Hand's Keep, and he is the disciple of Asmodeus. He is the new leader, if you wish, to put it in simple terms. With his hand alone, he's able to snap away life with just a click of his fingers, and that's why I was very concerned that he let us go. Demons are very complicated, but they don't usually make their lives harder. He could have just clicked his fingers and got rid of all of us then and there.
Ah,
Perhaps he wanted
Perhaps
to
we're
entertain
amusing to
himself.
him.
I don't know.
isn't that a lovely thought?
Yeah,
But
quite
one of the
lovely.
more powerful demons who is locked away forever is, and you see, he says a name, but none of you remember it.
Oh.
He looks around, as I expected. This demon is laid trapped inside of a temple of Ayun. I'd helped gather information for several priests, and they were able to remove him from the board. But this one is forgettable, to say the least. But Ayun, the knowing mistress, a goddess of knowledge, they never forget. After that, you have several other demons in the chain of command. But they ebb and flow with strength and command. You have Mildrafe, the Weeping Widow. You also have Devastus, Woe of Death. Ribelrina, the Whimsical Smile. Morda, the Wrongly Chosen. Kaverse, the Lock Baron. Elelmari, who has no name to go by. Tintava, the Tainted Tongue. Scalus, the Hooked Urchin. And Plathin, the second half to the Hooked Urchin. There were 5 other seats, but those others have fallen, it seems. Tina, Avatar of Death, from what I understand, has long been killed. Koronya, the Sinful Wishmaker, as Hassar has clearly pointed out, is being killed as well. Asmodeus lays trapped in the plane of oblivion. Voidstar, Hunger Incarnate, well, she seems to be ruling over a plane by herself. And then the last is a mystery. The final one, never to reveal themselves. Always hidden and unknown to myself. But there has always been 16 chairs. One by one they fall.
So, putting 2 and 2 together, the 2 that are a pair is probably the Hooked Urchin and the other half of the Hooked Urchin.
Perhaps, yeah.
Right, they all sound absolutely horrifying. That's amazing. Right.
Well, yes, they are. Each one of them has an influence and a power of their own. If one can create wishes, who knows what the others can do as well.
Yeah.
But I can help train you. I can steady your mind and teach you ways on how to eliminate these threats. It is lucky that we have fallen into the same path, and as well I am thankful for all of you saving me. I did not want to be a horse for the rest of my life.
I don't know. I lost like a horse to which I can talk like freely. I don't know.
Well,
Sad.
you can still talk to Apple. You'll be good.
Yeah, but come on, Apple is not so intelligent and I would say keen-minded as
We can
Hero.
go horse shopping. We can buy you a new horse. You can chat to each of them before we buy one, and then you can discover which one of them is the most intelligent or something. We'll get you a new horse.
But jokes aside, so basically we have two leads, more or less leads towards the demons. It's that black thing from Maesili, which is somewhere inside the town right now, and that woman, which have some had like Kirill in possession and probably were aware of his condition. So I think we are all on board and joining Aiden in his fight against the demons and fulfilling like our duties.
Oh yeah, at this point our best shot at staying alive and not getting killed by those demons is definitely sticking with him. So yeah, I think we're all on board. They did see all of our faces, so.
He looks at the group of you and gives a half bow. Then I am greatly in your service. I hope that we can bring you everything that you need to take down these demons with haste and with precision. We have learned the ways of the demon. We have gained the secrets that they had used to claim so many lives. And he gestures to Richter and Caroline. These two are proficient in their ways. They were learned from a very young age, and they will help guide you forward in your missions. But please, this time has been long, and you have all the time in your hands. Do with it wisely. And if you need moments away from this, do not think that you are indebted to this position for life.
I mean, we are just doing this to fulfill our part of the deal, the contract. So it's a win-win situation. We are staying alive and getting our wishes after we killed, you said 11 demons, right? You meant those which were created or those which we met already?
You see, as Aiden kind of looks over towards Kirill, he just responds with, as far as I am aware, there are 11 demons that are left standing. As Kirill had mentioned, one of them is imprisoned. That
So
leaves only 10.
So basically we need to dispose of those 10 quite powerful and higher like demons.
That is right. An easy task.
Right.
You don't say. Yeah, it seems we don't have any choice.
But you have a strong team around you. You have, and he gestures out, a small army here of very capable individuals with skill sets that can be used no matter the situation. I believe between all of us, we can make this world a better place. For Aiden Hazar.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not scared in any way. It's not. Well, no, it's probably the dirtiest shit I ever been into, but yeah. But I
Oh my
do not.
god, he cursed!
Well, I mean, kind of hard, you know. Not to in this situation. But anyway, do you have any other leads besides which we mentioned?
I can discuss with Koril for perhaps tracking down some in the future, but perhaps this Ravenna Wolf could be of intelligence. If you could perhaps go there, speak to her, see what has gone on with the horse to begin with. Perhaps there is a trail that leads back to one of these demons that had cursed him.
Sure. It's I think we would need to bring back that Black Den substance, which were implanted on Mycela to you, so you could at least, you know, take care of it, or maybe find the source of it.
That sounds like a good start. Koril looks over. With some time, I could perhaps locate the origins of where this came from. That is a good idea.
Well,
Then we have
okay.
2 leads.
And Kyrillis, I suppose you will stay here then for a time being, or would you like to join us and talk to your previous, so to say, owner?
I think for now I will stay here, do the research. If I understand this correctly, Aiden Hassar has built this place to keep him hidden from being found. Now with more of us here, the activity looming, perhaps it is best that someone more capable stays and ensures that he is not taken out as well. Especially since I will be holding on to the shadow of the demon.
Okay. Sounds like a plan, and in the meantime you might find any like leads onto that demon. But then before we like head out, I look at Aiden. Do you have any magical components which we could borrow or even buy or use? Or at least maybe you know some merchant which might sell us those components, or we can suggest anyone.
You see,
really am in dire need of those.
Aiden looks over. As I told you to begin with when you had first arrived at the estate, everything here inside these walls is yours. We have a training area downstairs with all of the necessary components for spellcasting, and as well crafting if necessary. I will allow both Coraline and Richter to show you. Life's Echo has already been down to see, but they can also show you around as well if you'd like. For now, if you need anything, speak either to Coraline and Richter or myself. And you see Aiden just kind of taps his cane twice and begins to leave the space. And feel free to use this space to track down anyone you wish. It can only be done a few times in a day. The arcane energy that flows through is temperamental, and sometimes you may not find them on this day, but it is there if you wish to use it.
Can it also go through the planes?
That we will have to be in for that to happen, but this estate can move between the planes.
Oh. Is Caroline or Richter how is the name? I think around
Yep.
or
Yeah, they're both here. You see Richter look over.
Yeah.
I can take you downstairs if you wish.
yeah. Then
Cal is gonna just very quickly follow Hazar. He has a question to ask.
Mhm.
We can do that after.
Sure. You've seen Richter and Coraline begin to gather some of you, those of you who want to see the downstairs kind of basement area. You all begin to kind of follow suit. Some of you stay behind. But for those of you who go downstairs, you can see that there is a section which is almost hidden from view underneath the main staircase on the right-hand side. It seems like an invisible doorway that just walk through, and it leads you down into this wraparound staircase that leads into the cellar, into the very kind of heart of this estate. And here you can see there is a large open fighting pit where there is sand, there is elements that kind of hang out, a true sparring and training course. As well, you can see weapons, grindstones, forges, different areas to be able to craft and mend and create new weapons, as well as tools. You can see there's an alchemy space, a place for kind of crafting armors and putting leathers together. This is everything that you need to kind of create and ready yourself for the journey ahead. This is kind of your starting base of operations. As well, here you can see that there is a side area where there's almost like a small little garden, as well as areas of growth where natural elements are being kind of bred and created to then use in spellcasting for components. You can see that there's just a large display of different kind of items collected, bits of elements that have been harvested as well, contained in jars, in small kind of sacks as well. Everything that you need is here. You see Richter guides you along, Axon, and just points out everything you need is here. But when you do deplete on a resource, we will need to find somewhere to replenish. So we have a limited supply, but you may take as much as you need. And when we have the time, we will stock back up.
I was asking mainly for pearl, which is worth at least 100 gold pieces, and I don't know if you have those in your possession.
You see, he kind of looks at the cabinet, opens it up. This one here. Here you go.
Oh, okay. I just need one. It would not be consumed, so thank you. I think it's unexpected, to say the least. Should I pay for it, or it's just for free?
Everything is given to you for free here. You also have the beverages upstairs, the food, everything is catered for. You are doing more than your fair share is worth. Payment is not necessary. And as well, if you need new items, new weapons, if you need anything that requires mending, we can do that here as well. Both myself and Coraline, we've trained and become experts in ensuring that the weapons are the most deadliest and that the armor protects you the most. So do not hesitate in asking us for any sort of appraisals or if you're in need of upgrades.
I don't want to brag, and I really appreciate your offer, but we got this covered. And the person is not here, but you met him already.
I understood. From first glance, I saw Ulrin was quite a capable tinkerer and craftsman.
But again, thank you for your offering. We might take you up on that. But again, I have other things planned for today, so if you excuse me, I will borrow this pearl for the time being, and yeah, see myself out.
He gives you a courteous look. Until next time, if you need anything else, training or any in your group, need advice.
Yeah, actually, before going out. Do we have any means of communication so we could keep in touch if anything will happen and someone will, need an urgent help or assistance? Do we have something like that, or should we, or could you create something like that for us in the meantime?
I can get you something, means of communication. The reason we don't have anything as of yet is mainly due to the fact that certain creatures can use these lines of energy and take information. They can listen in and pry on all sorts. It is a untrustworthy source, but if the need must, I can acquire some and hand you out for communication between the estate and for your team.
Would be fitting just for our team, probably, but again, just think about it. And there are, I think, ways around, like you can use not two ways, maybe one-way communication. But again, I think you know how to do it better than I am. So I would not take any. I would not waste your time.
That is fine. I'll acquire these sending stones and get them for you with haste, ready for your mission wherever you end up.
And I will give the courteous bow and much appreciated, and then just turn around and exit.
Okay. You leave. Cal, you wanted to speak to Aiden as he was heading off. You catch up to him.
Right, Miss Elzasser, right, one tiny little last question as well, so that I'll be very quiet. This might be completely irrelevant, but I thought I'd bring it up. I didn't want to bring it up in front of everybody, because, like I said, it might be irrelevant. A fairly sketchy fortune teller, sort of hinted at my brother potentially making deals with demons. That might mean that there's a demon, in Vardem, but it might also not mean that there's a demon in Vardem. So I just thought I'd mention it. I don't know.
Fortune teller.
It's he's a politician. Yeah. She was. She said something about her name being Madame Leslie or something, I think.
You see, he furrows his brow. You're sure of this?
Well, she showed me some images and made some statements, and she seemed to know why I was in the city, which was weird. But again, fortune teller, right? And it seemed to heavily imply that my brother was doing stupid stuff.
I would not worry about this farce of a fortune teller. Madame Lazille does not exist. She is long dead.
Oh yeah, that was the name, right?
If she was here, I would know. They were probably whispering lies into your ear. But if you think this is necessary for this, I will be sure to look into it as well.
Okay. Because, she also showed me some other worrying stuff, so, if that is true, then, well, I might either get eaten or my brother stabs me to death, and neither of those are very entertaining.
No, I would prefer you not to get eaten or killed.
Yeah, me too.
Vardem. I will look into it. I will send Caroline to perhaps put an ear to the ground. Or maybe I will even send Life's Echo, depending on what is the plan. We will see. But thank you for coming to me with this information.
I hope it isn't a complete waste of time. Even though I do kind of hope it's a complete waste of time, because otherwise it would mean that my brother's like being dealt with demons and like typically doesn't end well for the people doing the deals. Even though we're technically not a demon, so.
Do you know of this Madame Lazille?
No. Should I?
I don't think it is a secret, but I left out information because I do not wish to speak of her name. But the witch in question in the story that I told was her. A chaos from the Feywild. A witch of all witches.
Damn.
Not a name to throw around so lightly, but many try to intimidate or become what is so synonymous. And he just...
Well, she was very dramatic, like the fortune teller, but also she had a like cheap-looking tent that disappeared the second I stepped out of it. Really, like dramatic, and then like in the last whispers of the wind, I heard the name like Lazille. It was very, very much a dramatic performance, which, you know, looking back, makes it look pretty fake. So I'm sure it was very fake.
No, this sounds exactly like something Madame Lazille would do.
Ah, goddammit. Okay.
So this is pretty spot on. But
Okay.
do not worry.
But you said you said she died, right? So.
Yes, she is no longer of this world.
Right. Good. I mean, that's good in theory, right? Means I'm less likely to die by getting stabbed by my own brother.
Let's
Sweet.
hope that is the case. But if you need training, I saw that your eye was glancing over toward Richter's elemental affinity. If you wish to
Yes, it
learn,
looked so cool.
I'm sure he can teach you.
I might.
I see a potential in you, Cal.
Huh. Good. I mean, if you say so.
He just looks over. No, I see it. I see there's something more in you. And that's why I chose you.
I was wondering if that, like when I first got it, I was like, how did he get the wrong brother? But apparently not. So that's great. Right then, I'll stop taking up your time. I ended on a good note. Witch is dead. And that was a fake I met. Great, okay, I'm gonna accept that. Bye! It's just gonna awkwardly shuffle on the room.
Just continues to stand there, just kind of watching you leave. He doesn't move a muscle. And then he ends up walking off. Helen, is there something you wanted to do?
Helen would just kind of look around this like massive underground, like functional like Hunger Games training arena
Yeah, pretty much.
that she's been brought down into, and kind of flick through. Is there like a bit of a library down here, or is that back
Yeah.
up in the main?
So you have the main library on the kind of base of on the main floor, which has just general history, some kind of knowledge on things in here and there. But down here, you can see that there is almost training books as well, books to kind of learn different martial abilities, as well as to kind of perfect your mind in combat. There's different kind of books stating the kind of art of war, essentially, as well as the maybe like the ways to hunt down beasts, how to track them, that sort of thing. The stuff that you'd expect to find in this place, as well as things of learning of how to craft. just your basic survival gear, and everything else in between. So everything is here that you can think of.
Helen would kind of look around, try and find like a desk or a table that she can co-opt, even if it's not technically her desk or table.
Mhm.
Kind of start clearing and gathering and moving bits around so she can set up like a full alchemical, like it can live here and stay here kind of setup and start
Sure.
putting that together.
Excellent. As you're going through that, placing all of your equipment, grabbing some of the kind of alchemical elements that were left in the spellcasting components, bringing them over, you watch as the silent foxhound Ark, the kind of wood elf tiefling, who doesn't seem to speak at all, who has lost the ability to speak. You just watch as she's just kind of watching the entire thing take place. And then as you're moving books back and forth, you see she picks up a book and just sits down and begins to read through it.
What, like, feelings is she giving off? What is she just, like, kind of trying to, like, are they just trying to, like, pair off on us and kind of, this is our equivalent of you type situation, or?
You can roll a insight check.
Try and gauge what the vibe is on. Helen done no shit. She's too excited about alchemy.
Yeah.
No.
She's being Heisenberg again. She just doesn't.
Yep.
She's not using her emotions.
It's taken over.
Yeah, you just see she's just looking through a book, just looking through. On occasion, you'll see she'll kind of like highlight something in there, circle it with a pencil, and just kind of continue. Is there anything else that you guys would like to do?
She'd pick up some books that seem interesting, like gaps in her knowledge type books, just to take with her for reading.
Okay. You find some books, you begin to read, you spend kind of like the afternoon just learning on some things, scratching up some abilities, some kind of knowledge that you already knew, but just building up on that as well. You go through the motions. Okay, so Helen's reading, doing that. Cal, what are you up to?
I mean, I had an idea, but fuck it. What's Mycelia doing? I wanna like Cal's going to look for Mycelia. He's gonna try and find her.
I have no idea what I'm doing, dude.
Right, okay. Are you still at like Hazar's mansion, or did you leave?
It's a good question. I don't know. I think what would you do? She'd probably go to the paintings you could stick your hand in.
Oh no.
Okay.
Because she's curious about that.
So
and how that works.
Mycelia, you find her just looking around the paintings, every so often putting her hand in, just kind of like shaking around, grabbing onto a couple of bushes and branches, seeing if they snap or break off. And at one point, you do actually kind of like snap something off, and then you pull it out, and then it's still in your hand. And then Cal arrives.
Hey, Mycelia, do you want to do something like vaguely, potentially fun? Like it's probably not going to be fun. Want to help me with something?
Fun. What are we doing?
Well, it might be fun. Also, it might potentially, like, I don't think it will be illegal. It might potentially be illegal. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it. Okay, great. That's concerning, but great. Well, first of all, for that, I want to find a quiet corner where it's just the two of us.
Yeah, you can find that here. You can see some of the other members of like this group are out and about. Some of them are in the observatory. Some of them are downstairs walking around, but you can find a place quiet enough. The estate's big enough for that.
Okay. As soon as I'm relatively sure that there's just the two of us, Kel's just gonna go like, okay, so you know how you have Mushu, right? I want you to meet someone, and he's gonna summon the drone, and he's just gonna summon her in his hand because she's like roughly like cat-sized at this point, I think. So he's just holding her in his hands, and it's just like, this is Janet.
Okay.
Right.
Is-
Okay. So this is Janet. She's a baby, and she has very specific dietary restrictions.
Is that like why you're sometimes full of scars when we go to bed?
Yes. So I've been thinking about getting a more suitable way of feeding her. That isn't.
You have a vampire dragon?
I don't think she's she's more of a plant, really. Like she, I think she really likes sunlight, and like you could technically probably feed her with water. But she just prefers blood, you know. I think it's just like her favorite, and like it
Okay,
seems to have
that's
most
not
effect on
concerning
her
to
growth.
you.
Well, sort of, but her mum said that it's normal, so yeah.
Okay, what do you want us to do?
So what I've been considering, I'm sure there's a lot of people in the city because like it's a city, right? Every city has, like poor people and beggars. So I've been thinking, I have money, right? I could pay people to give us blood, but I don't want to do that alone because I think like I would easily get into problems if I do that alone, and I can't ask Oren because he would immediately just go, "No, you can't do that. That is so dangerous and stupid." And Axon would say the exact same thing. I considered asking Helen, but I feel like she wouldn't let me do it.
I thought
Maybe
what we
I
were gonna
can't-
do was
I
gonna
can't
be
have-
fun.
Yeah, but it might be fun.
Taking advantage
Maybe.
of beggars is fun.
Well, we're technically giving them like we're going to be paying. I have no idea how much like blood is worth. So potentially we're giving them way more money than what their blood is worth. Like also just one beggar really. I just want to try this. Really.
But like,
Once.
aren't beggars like super fragile? Like, what if you kill him?
Okay, what about like Janet doesn't have to drink directly from them. We could just like collect their blood as much as they're willing to like give.
What about we find a hospital? Maybe they have.
Well, how would we make them give that to us though?
I can be very
Do you think they
persuasive.
sell that?
There's no point in asking. They could be. I'm very persuasive, I think.
Right. We could try both and see which one works better. Right?
Okay. Sure. But you're probably right. We probably shouldn't tell the rest of the others.
No, probably not, right? I mean, maybe Helen would help. I'm not sure. Maybe.
Helen is like a solid 50-50.
Yeah, it's like really hard to tell.
You probably shouldn't tell.
But like
them.
at the same time, yeah, no, definitely not. Also, Axon would definitely stop us. So no.
Would he? You sure? Doesn't he like deal in like
yeah.
weird shit?
Yeah, but he seems to weirdly stick to the law, or like his specific idea of what the law is. He seems against drugs. I don't know. He seems against fun in general a bit. Like, really.
Okay. Do you want to ask Helen, or do you just want to go?
Well, she did seem very busy the last time I saw her. She was like doing all this like smoky stuff, and maybe we can ask her along next time. Like, if either of the strategies work, we can ask her again next time.
What do you think? Like, if we told Helen and asked her, what are like the chances that she'd snitch on us? That's.
say nah. I don't think she would, because like I haven't snitched on her yet.
Yeah.
And like if she snitches on me, that would be really me,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Can we do the hospital one first?
Okay, let's do it. Yeah. Okay, but like we should so that someone knows where we are, right? We should just tell Helen that we're going to the hospital without any
Well-
context, right?
Well, can't we just say that we're going into town? Surely that's not concerning.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Great.
As I don't know whether it's a
Yeah,
hospital,
we
I'm hoping that you know.
I don't know. But we can ask someone.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, you find Helen downstairs preparing her lab for brewing. You find her. Do you want to tell her the news?
We're going to town, so if anyone misses us, we're gone. We'll be back before like night, I guess.
You're muted, Brooke. Ooh.
Where are you heading? As she's kind of just like moving stuff around.
Just making some check-ins, just buying some stuff that we could use for the journey. If we are going back to the glass shard, are we going back to the glass shard? It sort of sounded like it.
I think definitely soon. Maybe be here a day or so just to stock up on stuff, but seems like a good idea. As she like almost drops a
Yeah.
massive thing of questionable looking
Right, so
substance.
yeah, we're gonna be buying some stuff. So we'll be back. Don't worry about us. Bye.
Helen, could you just roll an insight check?
Yeah, Helen.
Come on.
doesn't fully, yeah. I mean, they're too suspicious.
Oh my god.
Fuck off, dude.
This is
For real.
unreal. This is
The
unreal.
bullshit detector strikes
Swear to
again.
God.
It's less so the bullshit detector, it's more so the emotions that are coming from Cal. Cal's usually quite like scatterbrained with their emotions. It's a bit like up and down, mainly happy. Blissfully unaware is probably what I'd say. But in this instance, you can sense a great deal of nervousness as they're like just talking to you. You can also see like a bit of bead of sweat going down the side. They're definitely holding back something.
Helen would kind of wait for them to be up the stairs and then kind of slink around and like just monitor, try and see which direction they go in.
Okay, sure.
Just as
So-
they're leaving, like which way they're headed.
This is a question for Callum Mason. Where the fuck are you guys going? Where's the hospital here?
I don't fucking know. Is there city guards?
Honestly?
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
guards
I think I'm
around.
gonna approach the first person that looks like they know their way around. So yeah, the
Honestly,
guard we
guard.
see, we're just like, hey, where's the hospital?
You see a hobgoblin just kind of standing there on patrol, sees you leave the Hassar estate, and he's just kind of like, "Did you just leave? No one ever goes in." What?
Yeah, we hear that every time we get out of there. We know. Quick question. Where's the nearest, like, doctor's, like, medicine place or hospital or something of the sort?
Are you ill? You sick?
No.
Why are you nodding?
It's a question that makes sense. I was like, oh yeah, of course he's asking.
Well, no.
Yeah.
None of us are sick, but I am a medic, so I was just figuring I could offer a lending hand or something.
Roll a deception check.
It's like partly true.
It's partly true, yeah, but
Ooh.
you're saying you're going to lend a hand. Not really. Um, he kind of looks at, oh, that's very kind of you. Well, we're in dire need of some aid, so that'll be very greatly appreciated. I can take you there if you like.
Sure thing.
Very good. What do you specialize in? As he's just kind of like walking alongside you.
Different kinds of things. Mainly because I'm a bit of an adventurer. It's usually well, the last thing I had to heal was like fire damage because we got like hit in the face with a fireball.
That really hurt a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah.
You look completely fine to me. How did you get hit in the face by a fireball? Is there something going on here, or is this?
And
Oh,
then
no, we
Daryl
did-
was in the Fey realm.
It's not here. Don't worry.
In the Fey realm? What the?
Yeah.
You guys have really gone far. Well,
We can boast
Dang.
to the other travelers that we've been to the Fey realm and they haven't.
Mm.
well, look, not many people go there, so well done for surviving and keeping all your memory intact. Sometimes when people come back, they, lose a bit of reality. But you're seasoned adventurers and medical practitioners, so perfect. We're nearly there, and he's taking you down through the main area of the city. Helen, you can roll a perception check to see if you can perception or survival as you try and pin down where they're heading off to. 19. Fucking hell, the rolls like 20, 19, 18.
I swear to God, this
Can
game.
you roll
is
a
just-
20, a 19, and an 18?
Yes.
And then a
yes.
20, and then an
20
18?
again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
This
yeah,
game's
Helen,
playing favorites.
Yeah, dude.
you see exactly where
there's
they're
a
going.
4 in there.
There's a 4 in there. If you squint hard enough, yeah, there's a 4 in there. Somewhere hidden between excellence. Fucking hell. But no, you see exactly where they're going. You know exactly where they're heading off to. If you wanted to track them down, you could. They seem to be going towards the kind of medical center where you've walked past there the day before and you'd seen some people needing aid, especially since the leader here had mentioned that there was a trampling the other day. So you can see that there's kind of almost a louder buzz from that area where some of these people are. So you know where they're heading off to if you wanted to follow. But that's up to you. So yeah, the two of you head over to the medical center. You find that there are makeshift tents made up, and you see the guard just kind of look around. Well, here we have the doctors. If you need to see the patients directly, they're the people to talk to. But I'll leave you in their capable hands. Ladies and gentlemen, just so you're aware, we have a professional here. And he gestures towards May Seeley. If you need anything, seasoned practitioners in medical arts and adventurers as well. Any fireballs, they're the people to call. And you see he just kind of like leaves you to it. Everyone now kind of looks at the two of you. You can see one of them who has kind of like a half broken leg. Can you fix my leg?
Give me like a minute or so.
What about my eye? I can't see out of one eye. Can you help me?
How about you form an orderly line while I talk to whoever the fuck is in charge here? Thank you.
Yes, that would be me. You see, turning over, a person dressed in more kind of cleanly sort of outfit, a bit more white than the rest of the garb here, but still in that kind of Viking-y style. You see as she looks over to you, a bugbear. I can help you in this regard. What is your name?
My name is Miss Seeley, and this is Cal.
Nice to meet the two of you. I am Dr. Moreau. Pleasure to meet your acquaintance. Now, please, how may you be of assistance for us here? We seem to have a bit of a need for healing at the moment.
Well,
Bring you the equipment that you need.
Cal's got a question.
Yes. Everyone's attention is drawn to Cal.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I get it.
Standing there like,
Oh, wait, I get it. is there a place we could talk that was a little bit more private?
There aren't many places here, but sure, I can find somewhere. The janitor's closet is probably the best place to go. And she kind of like guides you to it, opens the door. If you really need somewhere private, this is the place. You head in.
Right.
She closes the door. So, what can I help you with?
Right, so during yesterday's drama, the fight, like we were slightly involved. And during the issue, it became quickly apparent that there was a resource we were lacking in. Like, several of us had like injuries and lost blood, and we it's really awkward. But do you think you could lend us like blood supply? Like, not a whole lot, just so that if we are ever in that situation again, that we would have the means to, you know, like if someone had a lot of blood loss, that we could resupply them.
We'll pay for it, of course.
Yeah, we'll make like a donation.
The pay isn't really an issue. It is more the fact that what type of blood do you need? Blood is not universal, and it needs to be from the correct race, the correct bloodline. There is many factors involved, and we might not have the supply that you need.
Well, most of us are. Cal is just like
Nodding
blank.
along.
What does that even mean? It's like, ah, yes, indeed.
I need to ask a question. Is Cal stoned?
No, he's not. God fucking.
Okay, just had to check.
He's not. No, Cal's just confused. He's just nodding along and just going. Right. So most of us are human-ish. Like, most of us have human in there. So I guess if you just gave us human blood. Stop laughing. Stop helping.
And where did you do your doctorate? Where did you study?
Well, I'm trained by someone. I'm sure you I was like, it doesn't really matter for me to like say any names because you won't know because I'm from Leyrons. So
Okay, you can tell me.
but there's do you know? Would you know? Have you been there?
It's close circles, perhaps.
What? Is it close? Wait, what?
You're not a doctor. How did you know?
I don't fucking know. Well, I'm not like I'm not like a doctor. I just help in the town I lived in apothecary and stuff. But I was the primary healer there.
And you've worked with blood before, because I do not want to give you this and then for some reason you incorrectly administer it and you give the person the wrong blood, and then we have a serious issue here.
Oh, yeah, that would
No,
be horrible.
You've
no,
never
I obviously know what I'm doing.
roll a deception check.
Oh no. Well, I can prove it to you. I can go out and I could probably like heal one of the injuries out there, and you could see that I know what I'm doing and I'm very, very skillful.
Okay. Please do. There's plenty of people that need aid. And she
Is
opens
there-
the door.
Is there someone here that there's something wrong with that you have like would have trouble healing, or It's just I want to brag a little, so that's why I'm asking.
You see, she looks shocked.
Yeah, Cal too.
Your teacher taught you very differently from mine. Okay.
What? I was taught by my mother, so
Oh,
there might be a little bias there, and siblings. So sorry.
in your apothecary.
Well, it was family driven, so
Okay. Well, there is someone who did come in this morning with a hook through their hand. And one of the fishermen had caught themselves on the end of their hook. Perhaps you could help them with that.
okay. And go
Right.
there.
She takes you over, and you find this. She takes you outside, not in the main tents, but kind of outside to the just the main open area. And you can see sat there with this huge hook through their hand, a giant. You see a hill giant, about 15 foot tall, large belly, kind of sat there in his sailor outfit that's kind of very tight against him. And you can see in his hand a hook, which is about the same size as his hand, completely threaded through, as he seems to have just maybe shoved his hand on top of it. He's kind of looking around, holding one side, just looking around and waiting for someone to come. Don't worry, my friend. We have a doctor on site. If you could please help the kind gentleman's situation.
Well, I have some questions. Out of game, because
Yeah, I
I'm
was
not a
gonna
doctor.
say.
Because I'm not a doctor,
Yeah.
and I have not worked in an apothecary. When you cast healing spell, you will need to remove the object that is currently in him.
Yes. Otherwise, it will heal around it.
Does it seem like there is a fucking a way to remove the hook without it being pain? Oh well,
You
There
could
would-
try. It's a hook, so it's clean in, but you will need to kind of almost pull it back out from where it came through, or push it through the other side. Either way, it's still going to require some effort. You can ask him to do it for you, but the reason they haven't done it yet is because once it's being pulled out, the blood will start flowing, and thus it will kind of cause the pain to be even more.
I'll ask the gentleman. So you need to remove the hook before I can properly tend to your wounds. And I'm gonna be quite frank here. There's just no way of doing it remotely painless. So do you want to pull it out, or do you want to pull it out to the other side? You know what I'm saying? Hook needs to go out of your hand. You need to remove hook.
Okay, and you see it just begins to pull it out and free then and there, as the blood just is now beginning to pour out.
When the hook is removed, completely removed, I'll heal him.
Okay, how are you healing him?
I will
so
use
much blood being
the-
wasted right there.
True, dude. If I can find, I'll use these
The healing light.
healing
yeah.
light. I'll spend 2 on him because I'm
Okay.
feeling nice.
Very generous.
Yeah, I'm feeling very generous.
Okay. The two of you watch as he begins to pull this hook back out. Eventually, it sticks because the point of the barb kind of etches its way in there. He tries to pull it even more, but he's in pain, so he just grabs it with his teeth and yanks the rest of it out.
Oh,
You watch as the blood just begins to pour out. You begin to shine this holy healing energy towards his hand and just on him himself as the wound begins to close up. Cal, you watch as Janet is kind of looking at the blood on the ground. There's been dropping
Wait,
from
she's
this
still out?
giant's mouth. You see, he's just kind of like
What is she doing now?
looking
I
at
mean,
it.
I was gonna summon her anyway. I was gonna summon her like stealthily, and then like, is there
Like,
like a
put her under
shadow
it?
there? Where's this blood dripped? Like,
It's
is it
dripping
like everywhere?
down, not too like far away from you, but it's like a constant drip that's going down, like a waterfall.
Can't she just like
Okay.
go under it and just tilt her head up?
I want
Like
her
a-
to.
like a
I want
funnel?
her to like if she can. I want her to do it stealthily though. I want her to do it
Okay.
like subtly.
Then
I don't
roll a
want her
stealth
to
check
just
for it.
walk over there and. Oh,
Give
I don't
me-
think she has. Wait.
Roll a stealth check for Janet.
Yeah, I'm checking what. I don't think she has stealth, but let's see. Maybe she does. Maybe
I
she's
don't have
gonna surprise
invisibility
all
either.
of us.
So you're on your own.
Oh no. Okay, there's the sheet. Ah, so many buttons I should have pressed earlier. Where is it? It's not here. Where are her stats? Where are they? Oh, there they are! Oh boy, she has an entire +1 on Dex.
It was worth the check.
Nice.
Okay.
Let's see.
You just kind of like command Janet to sneak in to kind of bathe in the waterfall of blood. But
Okay.
you just watch as Janet actually just like pounces out, lands in the blood, and you see it just
Oh.
begin to roll.
I'll do a minor illusion away from where Janet is and be like,
Okay.
"What the fuck is that?" To make people
Okay.
look at it.
Roll a deception check to see if you can convince people to look
Me
away.
when Cal was just watching Janet just go, oh.
26. What do you conjure? What do you conjure?
It's a small thing.
Be specific, please.
Yeah. So I'm gonna conjure. Oh no. I'm empty. Happily take suggestions.
Demon? Considering what we've been through, not the
Oh.
unlikeliest thing to happen.
I'll create like black smoke coming out of. Is there a lamppost or something?
Oh, yeah, there's lampposts.
I'll make black smoke emit from the lamppost.
You create the black smoke and you just hear someone shout, "Fire! Fire!" Just someone begins to scream out. The guy with the hook that is pulled out of with his teeth, just looking over. Everyone kind of like, what? Paying attention up there. Look, fire! There's a fire here! Someone get it out before we all burn! Everyone's just kind of like distracted by this one guy who's fallen for the bait. Meanwhile, Janet is just rolling in the blood. They see it trickling down on their face, tongue lolled out to the side, just glogging it entirely. You get the sense, Cal, that Janet doesn't have to necessarily drink the blood, but bathing in it absorbs into the body either way. So you just see it just kind of like rolling in, and then when the blood seemingly stops altogether, you just hear it go, bleh, just burp, and then crawl its way back to you. If you could
I'm
roll,
gonna quickly put her
two-
back in the ring. Just go, come back in.
if you could roll 2d6,
Right? As one or separate?
that's one. This one's fine.
Okay. 7.
Okay. So Janet has consumed 44 hit points so far in their journey as becoming a vampire, whatever the fuck. So you watch as the doctor who is next to you, Dr. Morale, she kind of That was very good. It seems that you've healed the gentleman quite well. Thank you very much. But the blood that you had mentioned, we still need to discuss this. If you need, we have a slight surplus that I can give you as some sort of payment for this. So I'll be back in a second. But please, use it sparingly. I will label them with where they came from, but please, don't mix. It is not good. She then returns after a few minutes, and you see like 3 sacks of blood that aren't necessarily massive, but they're probably about the same size as your torso. 3 of them in these kind of like leather sacks. And she hands them to you. There you go. They're labeled with the blood type as well as the race that they came from. So if you need anything else, please. And if you could give us your services, we'll always be thankful.
Yeah, we even know like a cleric who also does healing. So like, they might come around again, and like both of them help heal people. So, thanks for this. We'll possibly be back. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. See you soon.
Have a nice day.
She just continues to walk around. Very strange, nice people. And she just continues to help out different folks.
I was just holding the sacks of blood, just to go, hey, I can't believe that worked.
I can't either.
The place the inn we stayed at, did they have like a communal bath, or did every room come with a bath?
There was a commune one. There was one that was shared between everyone. There was no private bathroom area in these rooms. So if you wanted to bathe, but you do have your rooms in the estate, which on a
for that I have
blast,
to carry the blood into the estate.
As if it's the weirdest thing that happens in there. But you begin to.
Hazard probably already knows anyway, so.
You begin to think of a plan of how to go about this. Meanwhile, we're going to go to Axon. Axon, you decided to head over to the Collapsicon once again?
Yeah, I just want to drop by, and if I find Olrin somewhere, I'll just inform him that he would need to bring that substance extracted to the estate, so they could study it, and track down the creature which implanted it, and yeah, just then look around and talk to Isabella if she is still around. But I don't think that we need to go through it. We can do it later. Nothing like.
Sure thing. You roll a perception or survival check for me. I'll give you advantage as you know the place fairly well now to kind of navigate your way through. 27. Going around and through, you can see that you are being followed. You see, as you kind of walk through Collapsicon at the moment, you can see everyone dressed up in very elaborate sort of gear and outfits. You can see that one person's been kind of following you the entire time. Someone who's dressed in this kind of like auburn sort of fall colors, a outfit which is kind of like a half skirt and a suit made of leaves, ginger hair, and you can see they're kind of like walking around and just kind of following you, it seems.
Well, do they look harmless, or?
You can roll an insight check. The roll that you had before will give you some info, but an insight check will give you some more.
17.
Okay. With a 27, you can see that this person's build is quite not athletic, but quite lean in the sense that you can see that they're trained. They seem to have some sort of physicality to them. They're not the tallest. They probably like hide within the crowd fairly well. Their outfit stands out though. You can see a lot of people kind of turning around, oh, that's an amazing outfit. That looks really good. And he's just kind of like pushing past them. one thing he does have is this kind of like ever so permanent smile across his face. And as well, you can notice that there are cuts against his arms. With a 27 mixed with your insight check, you can get the sense that there are blades hidden up his sleeves. As well, the cut, there is a singular cut. Each one has like, for the better terms of kind of use, is like a bandage or like sellotape, like blue sellotape, which is like holding against them and keeping the wound closed. But one of them, you can see the sellotape slightly flaps open, and you just watch as a small trail of like rose petals just begin to kind of flutter onto the ground. And then he just kind of like looks down and wraps it back up again.
Okay. It's kind of strange. Yeah. I will. Did I met Olren or I didn't find
You've
him?
not seen him yet, no.
Okay, I didn't find
He
him.
might not be in Collapsicon. With the perception and insight, he's either perhaps in some private room, maybe doing some sort of private lesson or listening to a seminar, or he's not at the Collapsicon at all.
Right. Is there any hidden or like dark allies is not
Yeah,
there?
certainly. You can try and like blend in with the crowd and try and slink away and hide. That'll be a stealth check, please.
Yeah, I will definitely try that.
With the perception check you rolled before, I'll give you advantage.
Okay, yeah, I would definitely need it. Yeah, that's much better. 21.
Okay. 21. Okay. You begin to kind of slink in between this two huts that have been built up. You can see one of them trying to sell some merchandise, it seems. You can see there's some merchandise like plushies and such that are being left on the side, some kind of like humanoid people, some kind of like animal-based things just left there. And then the other one seems to be almost like posters, like iconic images that are being like signed and hand-delivered to people. But you slink in between the two of them and hide for a moment as you can see that this figure is looking around and kind of stops outside of your line of sight. You see it look around. It's like
Well, I
wrinkle of the
honestly
nose.
didn't want to drop him from my trail. I just wanted to. Honestly wanted to draw him somewhere like private and then like approach him. That's what I wanted, not like
Okay.
drop him completely off trail.
Yeah, sure. You see he's kind of like looking around now and seemingly lost this trail in amongst people. You see he walks into a room which seems to be empty. There's no seminars, it seems to be an empty space. But he kind of like walks in there and begins to...
I will
around.
like follow him, and before I enter this room, I will again look around if like anyone paying him attention that he went
Yeah,
there.
with the same role you had before, no one
Uh,
seems to like pay too much attention outside of the gawking at his outfit.
And then almost silently, I will then go inside and
Mhm.
close the door. Like almost.
Okay, you
Uh,
close the door.
Not the close, I mean, but at least like so no one will see or hear
Cool.
anything will happen.
No problem. You can see this figure continues to like walk around. He's looking underneath chairs and just kind of like begins to scratch his head a little bit. Still looking around. You can see now that this person seems to be kind of shoeless. Like the feet are just bare. Just wraps of cloth, really, that seem to wrap around his feet, up his legs, and as well down his arms. He's kind of looking around.
You lost someone there.
No, I've not lost anyone. Hello?
What?
Hi.
Hello, and what are you doing here?
Well, I'll be honest, I'm heard a lot about you, and I thought that perhaps I could just introduce myself.
I don't think I ever seen you, but sure, go
No, no, no,
ahead,
no.
bud.
We've not had the pleasure to meet. I don't think I've made myself aware to your group. There was one person that I met about a day or two ago. Helen, I think her name was. But no, I've not had the pleasure of meeting you, sir. I've heard a lot about you, though. I've heard a lot about you. Your stories got my attention, let's just say.
Was thinking, what did you hear about me?
Well, nothing about you specifically, sir, but your troop. Legends starting to just build up a little bit in this place. You're new and up and coming adventurers of sorts.
And what is your deal with us? What do you want?
Oh no, well, nothing in particular. I'm just a big admirer of people in this sort of field, really. And I just wanted to introduce myself. And he steps a little closer.
You can keep your distance. I'm good at hearing.
Oh, I understand. I'm a stranger to you, so that's okay. I'll stand right here. My name is Smiles. You can probably see why. They don't call me Frown, so I'm always smiling. But I'm a bit like yourself. I'm an adventurer too. I go around doing little deeds here and there. So I just thought perhaps if there was any jobs that we could touch base and, I don't know, maybe deal in a couple of adventures or two.
You know what? How about you tell me about your arm? What is the deal with it?
He looks down to see the flap of tape just hanging off the side. Oh, I wouldn't worry about that. It's just a little wound, that's all. We all bleed slightly differently, don't we? Some bleed red, some bleed blue, some bleed roses, and I do. So, you could say I'm a
Oh.
little bit different from the normal.
And since when did you start bleeding roses?
Oh, well, it's just like yourself. I don't know you to share my whole story just yet. But I'm happy to share as long as we're both sharing.
Yeah, you can go first.
So persuasive. No, you go first.
Then what do you want to hear from me?
Not much, really. To be honest, I don't really like talking all that much. I'm more of a doer. And, well, I like to do things and get shit done. So, if perhaps I come about something and you wanna do the job, is that something that could be of interest to you or not? Or
You know-
are you already taken?
Before doing any jobs for someone who is bleeding roses, I need to understand why are you in such a position and why are you, or why do you want to give me any job in the first place?
Roll a persuasion check. Well, let's just say I like to make friends. Okay? I like to ensure that the people that are around me I can trust. And, well, I scratch your back and you scratch mine. If there's a problem that you have, I can help you. But I can only do this if there's nothing else involved. I don't like getting involved in politics, you see. So if you're already tied to someone, then I don't want to get involved.
You mean in this realm or another?
Well, isn't that quite the existential question? This realm, I guess.
In this realm, my allegiance does not connect it to anyone.
Oh, so you don't have to work for anyone? Not at all? Just yourself?
Oh, I mean, in political scene, I'm not connected to anyone.
But your allegiances, where are they?
My allegiance is only to my people.
Good answer. Good answer. Deflecting. I like it. You know what? You and I think we're gonna end up working quite nicely together. My allegiances, if you need to know, are for myself. I look out for the little guy, myself, and anyone who I deem as my friends. So that's my answer to that one. Do you have a question?
Yes, I already asked it. What
Could
is
you
the
repeat
reason?
the question in a better format for me, perhaps?
What is the reason you bleed roses?
Well, what's the reason for all of us bleeding? Hurt. We all hurt. And that's unavoidable, really. Cuts and bruises, and there we are, dying.
I didn't ask you why you bleed. I asked why it is specifically roses.
Why is your blood liquid? I don't know. How am I supposed to know these things? I didn't make myself.
Okay, then how about we get the things straight between us? I give you one last chance to answer me truthfully about the reason, and if you will avoid the answering, then our conversation is over and I would bid you farewell.
Oh, that's a shame to hear that. But I'm happy to answer your next question. I will try to answer it truthfully. It was my goal to ask a question, but look, I'm being chivalrous here. You take the lead. Take the lead.
I think you're kind of misunderstanding what's right now. Like, what is the reason, the main reason I'm talking to you? So, could you answer my only question I gave to you truthfully without hiding anything? Or you are not serious about this whole deal?
My reason for getting in contact with you is I want to get to know all of you and work alongside you. That's the truth. But if you're not happy with that, then I guess this arrangement isn't really gonna work out.
What will you bring to the table if you want to work with us?
Dedication, knowledge, and I can dish out a bit of pain. I'm no stranger to danger.
What kind of knowledge do you possess?
Well, seedy, shady businesses and how they're run.
We've got already an expert in this kind of thing. I think you know him. He's kind of light-headed, but you know.
Well, it sounds like you don't want to work together. And I can take a hint when it comes. friends, so I'll leave you to it. And maybe I'll run into one of your other friends and I can convince them instead. But it looks like my words are falling on deaf ears. So I will bid you adieu.
Just a fair warning, friend. If we meet again, it won't be so peaceful.
Well, clearly we're not friends then. But I will be seeing you around. I'm sure of it. Have a nice day in Collapsicon. It's quite the hit. And he
Don't make
leaves.
any troubles.
Can't guarantee that now. He leaves you to it.
Yeah, I will continue my search.
Okay. You eventually come across where Isabella is doing her seminar. It looks like the seminar's finished as you arrive, and you can see Tuco waiting outside as he sees you and kind of waves his hand over. I've been waiting for you to arrive, Axon. At the meeting, the seminar was quite good. She spoke a lot, and it was very insightful.
I will put my hands on his hand over his head and
Okay.
pet him. I mean, not like.
Constitution saving throw.
Oh come on! He is completely all the time. He is like. Okay.
No touchy.
No touchy.
Okay, you succeed. You're fine.
Yeah, thank you, Otoko. You did well.
Well, a little bit demeaning, but I'll accept.
Yeah,
She seemed like a nice woman, though, to be honest. So but you... Didn't you say that you had a partner? Oh, I'm really confused. But she seems nice. So, you know.
You know, Toko, she also is married. So it's purely business. And I didn't know her personally, but I heard about her.
Okay.
When she was
Okay.
young.
Well, hey, look, I can keep a secret.
There is no secret, so you don't have to keep it.
Okay, thank God I can't keep secrets. Whew, I would have been screwed. Okay. Well, I think she's in there waiting.
Yeah, and if you want, you can join us, but I don't think it will be interesting for you. So.
Okay, I'm going to see who the leader of this place is. I heard he's quite an adventurer, so I'm going to go over and talk to him for a little bit.
Yep.
I
See you
know I
later.
want to see that conversation. I want to see it so
Bye.
badly.
Bye. See you in a bit. Bye.
Yeah.
You walk in, you see Isabella there, just kind of packing up some of the kind of like loose papers that she had from the seminar, stacking them up, putting them into a pack. Oh, hi, Axon. Good to see you again. Yes, our discussion. Please, you can take a seat and we'll just have a little conversation. Now, I can't help you with much. I was having a little think of perhaps where or who could be of best influence for you and bring the better answers that you're looking for. The only person that I could think of that would deal in something that is different from what you've probably already looked into is someone referred to as Majornai. She is a hermit who lives in Tunthair, just outside of Hell's Spike. Powerful in the ancient secrets of primordial energy, I thought that she could have been the best shot at helping me in my position, but it seems that no one can really help mine. But perhaps she could enlighten you with something in yours.
Are you certain that she would be of help? Hers is more of nature And
Well, that is where she derives from. She is a dryad. She's part of nature itself. Um, I can try to broker a conversation between the two of you, but sometimes the people who live on the fringe of society are harder to reach. They like their privacy, but I can put a good word in for you, and perhaps that could be an option. I'm
I
sorry I
mean-
can't be of much else aid, but
I mean, you
I
already
will do my best.
you already like did more than enough, and you do not have to be sorry. And I cannot ask like more of you to put in good words. I will search for her myself, and if you say she is or she might have any insights on the issue I have at hand, then it's worth a shot.
Well, I really hope that you can find some way around this, because I remember your City of Lights, and it was brilliant. Truly brilliant. To see it flowing with all of its arcane energy, it was one of a kind. So I would love to go back there when it's all back to how it was.
Yeah. Last time I saw those lights, they were emitting more like not a more colder light, as it wasn't so warm. Things might have changed, Miss Lion died.
The world is
Yeah.
always changing, and you never know what may have happened whilst you've been gone. Perhaps improvements. As strange as this world is, it finds ways to repair the damage that's been done. Sometimes the uncurable can find other remedies to enhance its life.
I cannot agree with you on this, but yeah, one way or another, life always finds a way.
It does. And what will be
But-
next for you and your troop?
We got an assignment, which might lead to some fateful encounters, I might say, and then we will see. We
A
got dragged
mission
into
by who?
we got dragged into some, yeah, how to say it, some history.
Not someone in
And-
my organization, no?
No,
Not
it's-
reserve.
No,
Alright.
it's nothing connected to reserve. It would be much easier if it was. But again, it is nothing worth mentioning again. Just like a small side job which we got.
Well, good luck with it and everything that goes around. If you ever need anything, your people helped me. I'm happy to help back. Just reach out.
No, about that. I mean, you already helped enough. I cannot ask you more. So you can, on behalf of my people, I can express my heartfelt gratitude, and you can, you do not owe us anything.
Okay. I don't like not owing people something. I have a lot of coin to spare, so I try to get rid of as much as possible. But if you say so, then I will keep this bag of gold that I was going to hand you in your journey. I'll just keep it here.
You don't. If you want to get rid of it, don't keep it somewhere or throw away. Just give the people who needs it. There
Well,
are
I feel like you might
certainly-
need it.
I'm not in the dire need of coins, and I think that there are people which are in more dire need around us. Give it to them. I would
I
say
will.
my people would be then more than happy.
Then I will give it away under your name.
You don't have to mention my name.
Well,
But
I
it's-
am going to do it. So just
Yeah,
deal with it.
It's your decision, and I remember, or at least I heard the talks about how hard it is to convince you of other way or to do some things other way. So yeah,
Yes.
again,
He was a very stubborn man. Long may he live. He's not long for this world now. But he's yes, he was quite a more brutish figure. But this money will go down to people who need it, as per your request.
then I would not take any no more of your time. If you would also require my assistance in any issue, especially concerning the souls and spirits, you can reach out to me. And I will
Well, I
gladly
already have
assist
quite
you.
a few contacts that deal in that sort of fare, but yes, I will. I'll put you on the top of the list, top 3 at least.
Just out of curiosity, who is top 1?
Well, I'm not supposed to say.
Come on, it purely curiosity. I'm not going to tell everyone about it.
Well, I have some connections with death itself, but they're probably a bit lower on the chain. So I would probably say the champion of souls herself. Quite a few connections there. So, yes, there's a few. So I'll put you up there. Maybe number 5 or 10, but still there on the list, on a radar.
I take that ranking because I would never dare to compete with the champion of Sahanin herself.
Well, she is retired, so there is place to take. So, who knows? Who knows?
Well, maybe another champion will appear sooner or later, but again,
Hmm.
it's the talk about. We can talk about it sometime
So
later.
many champions nowadays. Oh, it's all so confusing. But yes,
Okay.
enjoy your travels wherever you end up, and know that you always have a friend in my corner if you need it. My name carries some weight in the material plane. I know that your people aren't from here, so I can help you get into places that you probably couldn't to begin with. So, I'm at your disposal.
I will politely bow. Thank you, Miss Lyondite.
You're very welcome. Stop the bowing, please.
I hope you also will be well and happy. So see you around then.
See you
And I
very
will again-
soon.
I will again bow and then take my leave.
Stop bowing.
I'm
It's
sorry,
literally just the two of us in this room. It's quite embarrassing.
but you don't have. Okay. I would just not answer. it.
Just leave.
Yeah, turn
Just
around
go.
and leave.
See you soon. And you just leave. All
I
right.
miss already.
Returning back
Oh,
to the estate, you all reconvene Cal, what are you doing with the blood bags?
What a way to ask. I feel like he'd ask Maysili to go in first and maybe draw attention away from the doors, and he'd try and sneak in. And probably get to they got rooms assigned, right? Try and get to his room. If there is a she can just drink it. She doesn't need to bathe in it. If I do have a bathtub, if I have one, she gets to bathe in it.
A somewhat distraction is made by Massili.
Right.
You carrying 3 loads of blood bags is probably no distraction is going to take away from that. So pretty much everyone in the room watches.
I feel like I could pull out like a big enough distraction.
Okay, then let us hear it. What's the distraction?
What if I? No, that's a terrible idea. Wait, actually,
Do it.
What... No.
If it's terrible, do it.
What if I just flash them?
You're just gonna flash them with.
That's not going to work.
Well, they're not gonna look at you.
Okay, so Maysili runs in. Roll a performance check.
God damn it.
Nah, okay, come on. You've got it. That would be so funny.
No. Performance.
Okay.
Oh, god damn it!
Maysili
Brooke
runs.
took all of her good luck.
Maysili runs in with this plan, determined. Runs in, looks around, finds the closest people around her, and just flashes them. Just then and there. You see a couple of people. Coraline's there. Some other members of Life's Echo, just like reading books, doing their own things. Look at you.
Oh no.
Excuse me, what is it you're doing?
I'm not gonna answer.
Okay, well, Han, you don't have to show us. It's okay. They're fine. Just.
I feel so insulted.
Mikal just like tiptoeing and like fucking Santa Claus behind. Coraline just looks over. I'm not even gonna ask. It's.
I feel like that was like worth a try. Worth a shot. It would be so funny if it worked.
Gal's just gonna move past, not gonna say a word, just gonna be like, all good, bye.
The Cloud Goliath, Piethgrana, she's reading a book at the moment. Can you please cover it up?
Well, no. You know, you should really like start like embracing your own body. Like love yourself, you know?
I agree. And you see she takes hers off. She just continues sitting there, reading a book.
Hell yeah.
Coraline's just like looking at the two of you. I'm going to...
No. It's free the nip day. I think.
She disappears in a shadow and is gone.
What a wuss.
She just continues to read her book.
Great tits. I'll leave.
She looks at you and she gives like a knowing nod and a pretty good as well. Cal, you sneak up. Not really. Up to your room. There are private bathrooms in there en suites. You have a large bath. I'd probably say, Helen, you smell the scent of blood in the air, trailing up the stairs. And as you're just kind of like curious, you see Cal with 3 blood bags just walking. They're heavy, Cal. You've been carrying them for like 30 minutes. So you're just like up the stairs.
Helen will just kind of walk up and just grab one off him and hold it. and just walk up with him and goes, "Why do you need this much?"
Experiments.
All right, and just would kind of like do a like for sure, buddy, like tap
Yeah.
on the shoulder and goes, "Do you want me to keep these downstairs? I can store them in a way that it, they'll stay a bit better for longer."
They won't last very long.
Hmm.
They won't be a concern in like 20 minutes from now. So
Please don't summon anything that would burn or destroy the house in any way. It's rather nice here.
I
and
don't
I've got
know.
my
No,
whole setup
there's
downstairs.
no. Don't worry. There's no destroying of houses going on.
Kind of
No
gives
burning.
Hella,
specific-
"Are we sure about that?" kind of look, like a
And he very seriously, yes, we're 100% sure this house is not going to get burned down. Specifically burned is not going to happen. No.
Alrighty. I might pack up a few breakables just in case, and would.
No, seriously. Okay, I mean, can't. I mean, you're like. Well, hell. Mercedes said that I should just tell you, because we were like 50-50 on you just ratting us out to Allwind accent or not doing it. But now that we've succeeded at it and we haven't hurt anyone doing it, do you want to meet a little travel companion of mine?
Sure.
Great. And Cal's just gonna push both of them into his room and then just summon Janet once again into his hands.
Okay. You
Let us
see
go.
this basically like a amorphous body of a small dragon appear and look very eager. The tail is wagging back and forth as it sees the blood bags.
Yeah, right. So this is who the blood is for, and Cal's just gonna put her down for a second, pour one of the blood bags into the bath, and just set Janet in it.
This porcelain white bath is just covered in scarlet red blood.
Yes.
It is like the scene out of
The Shining.
The Shining.
It's The
Just
Shining.
boom. Janet
Helen
instantly
heard about-
dives in.
Helen's kind of looking perplexedly at it. Like, has she heard anything about anything like this creature before? Stories, history books, anything?
You can roll a history check, but knowing your luck, I think it's just going to go to a nat 1 now because you've rolled too well. You've rolled too well, Brooke. No!
What?
Oh my God.
Oh! How are you still this lucky?
Can't believe it. Can't believe it. I'm happy for you, but god damn it. It's so high. 18. Don't get it. Get a fucking lottery ticket. You said you were on a buzz today. So yeah, you begin to look back through the small little stories that you've heard and shared, and as well bits of knowledge in the real world. This thing, although amorphous and sort of like it's kind of more particles than it is a true form at the moment, with what you can see, there's something about it that rings to a story long ago. The details of it are murky to the point where you don't think it's something based in the Fey realm. It's something that's probably outside of your realm of expertise, but it's a story that's been shared nonetheless. A story of a creature that is of this world, that was formed from the roots and the trees and everything around it, and taken on the form of almost like this draconic sort of entity. Now, the name of this dragon or this concept does not come to you, but what does is the Rose Dragon. a dragon that is almost completely made and comprised of roses and thorns that wrap around its entirety. The scales themselves are hardened, and you remember seeing almost iconography, pictures, people who had worn this in ceremonial outfits as part of honoring history and stories. You would have seen these in like competitions that were hosted by your father, perhaps, to see who would become the next knight or perhaps the next lord or something of your kingdom. You would see this kind of imprint of a dragon's head with heavy plated scales on top of their regular armor. So it is something that is depicted and something that has a following. And the story that kind of revolves around it is that it is a creature that is perhaps more maleficent than most would think a dragon to be. Something that should be in the Fey realm but isn't. Lives in the material plane. And the reason for its vibrant red petals is because those who serve under it or those who wrong it give or are the ones who give their vitality to this dragon. It is almost a worship, a prayer, a cult in some ways, but it is nothing that is grown out of control. It is quite a contained story. So, but you've seen people dress and have iconography based in this creature. And this is what's kind of ringing bells, because as soon as you see this draconic form bathed in the blood, it drips in, dives head first, completely disappears. Cal continues to talk, but then the two of you notice that the level of blood in the bath just depletes quick. And in a matter of maybe 10 seconds or so, this tens of liters of just liquid just bubble away. It's probably closer to like 50 liters or so. As it just bubbles away, and you just see the dragon is the only thing that's left there. But now the dragon is fully formed. You see that no longer is it this kind of immaterial substance of like spores. You see the coils of veins that resemble more like vines and thorns collected with these petals that run down its arms. Its ears are almost kind of bent back roses that are tipped with these kind of heavy, sharp edges to them. It moves and curls, and it is a bit bigger than it was before, Cal, as it just kind of appears out of the bath, the claws themselves, and then the head rising upwards. The head is probably about the same size as a football or so. Meanwhile, the body itself is a bit more slender in look and probably goes to about 7 foot. Creature is quite long and large now, and you just see it coiling in the bath, licking the porcelain red stains along the side as it just kind of like tilts its head, looks towards the two of you, and licks its lips dry.
It's now the size of
just-
like an alligator.
Ratching
Kind
it. Yeah. I was just cooing at it, going like, "Ah, he's so cute. Oh, cute. You grew. He's gotten so big."
Helen's just gonna kind of. Can you still summon it in and out of existence, or do we have another mouth to feed? And would just kind of go down to like see if she could pet it.
It
watch
seems
kind of
open.
what Cal's doing.
Open to pets. You just kind of like scrunch the side. You feel the scales though are like razor sharp. If you were to rub the wrong way, it is like a heavy plated exterior. But then again, the interior, where the vines are and like make the most part of its body, it's very soft. You get the sense that perhaps this is just a shell, but the interior is very delicate, like a flower would be. But yeah, Cal, what do you do? Do you just try and usher it back into the ring?
Like I would look at it and go like, could you go back in? Just for a second, you can come up right away again, but just so you know, yes you can. Because you know it is safer in there than out here.
It just coils in itself, and as it kind of sits there and sleeps in the bath, you watch as the body begins to spore and then retreats back into your ring.
Yeah, still works. And I'm gonna summon it again.
Okay, it reappears and it's still in its full form.
Nice. Ah, she's grown so much. I was just doing the whole like proud parent routine where he's just like, oh, "You've gotten so much bigger since the last time I saw you."
Okay. It just kind of like coos and takes it all in. Every so often, you do see it kind of like licking its lips and looking around for the next the bag of blood.
Did she already drink all 3 of them, or did she only have 1 of them?
Went in. You just kind of dumped them all
Okay.
at the same time. But yeah, with that, you guys continue to have a kind of a lull of a day, planning your next journey forward, training, researching, just kind of readying yourselves for what moves next on your hunt for the rest of these demons. So we'll probably end the session there, and then we can pick up next time to where we kind of like get straight into it. So
Before we end, I just want to mention that I will, after arriving, cast the Identify on that sickle which I got from Pool, or
yes.
the lake. And if Helen would allow the book, which is in her possession, and other magic imbued objects.
What we can do, because you will have like a day or two, you guys, we can discuss this like a small bit of downtime, and then see if there's anything you wish to do, and then we can go from there. So there we go.
Nice.
Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.